Hi, my name is Xenia and I'm a dark fantasy author. I'm making this video in response to a comment from the lovely and wonderful Jane Face in the Wind 260. She has some great questions and I figured the easiest way to answer them would be in a longer form video. So the first thing that she asked was what a day in my life looks like in regards to writing. So I actually quit my 9-to-5 to write full time. I've been saving up for 9 years to be able to take a year off. And so far, I'm loving it. I wake up at 6 in the morning. By 6:15, I'm on the couch. I've got the dog on my feet, critical component, laptop on my lap, and I'm typing away. I always start the day with either writing 1,000 words or editing, take a break to walk my dog, and then do whichever I didn't do, either the editing or the writing. Usually that leaves me enough time before lunch to make a social media post or two, get those up, and then I take a break to eat lunch with my partner who also works from home. So that's a really lovely dynamic because we can bounce ideas off each other or vent about frustrations and things like that. It's really nice. In the afternoon, it gets a lot more varied. I'll either work on video editing, I'll record things like this, I'll do audiobook editing. I have a narrator who does all the reading for my books, but I edit out I edit them to the lengths I want and play with the levels and all that good stuff to make them ready for the end users like yourself. And beyond that, it's a lot of looking at analytics, planning future marketing, planning out other books or campaigns, looking into writing contests, writing for writing contests, updating my website. In March and April, even longer ago now, February and March, I was getting ready for the Kickstarter we just ran. Thank you everyone for your support there. That was a huge success for the special editions of The Ghost of Mittermere. And I'm really looking forward to those getting here. They're expected in a couple weeks, and then I can start boxing them up, and that'll be a huge thing. I've got the boxes and the paper and a plan for the shipping labels, just getting them all packaged, signed, personal messages, all that good stuff, a few little extras to throw in just as a thank you, and getting those off and shipped to all my backers. So I'm honestly pretty busy. I think I'm busier now than I was when I was working for other people. I like to tell people I'm my worst boss. So I usually wrap up around 4. I might help cook dinner or walk the dog, things like that. And then quite often I'll sneak back if something really had my attention or got my creative juices flowing, and I'll do a little bit more in the evenings as well. So that's kind of a day in the life. So your next question was whether I'm a morning or an evening person. I'm definitely a morning lark. Like I mentioned, I get up at 6, but I go to bed very regularly at 9 o'clock, which all my friends think is insane. I think it's crazy to stay up till 11 myself, but to each their own. And we call 9 o'clock pumpkin time because I'm pretty useless after that. I turn into a pumpkin. But definitely a morning lark, which might seem a little counterintuitive when I answer your next question. You asked me if I drink coffee or tea while I write. I actually try to avoid caffeine. I have nothing against it, but my mind-altering drug of choice is sugar, so I'll drink a hot chocolate as my warm beverage. But mostly, honestly, I stick with water. I'm extremely lucky to live on the west coast of British Columbia in a place that has very accessible drinking water that actually tastes pretty good. So I just drink from the tap most of the time. I'm very easy to hydrate woman. Your next question was whether I prefer longhand or typing. This is a mixed answer. If it's just creating like copy, like I've got my idea, I've got my outline, and I'm going for it, then it's always typing because I type a lot faster than I write. I also can't read my penmanship, and typing is a lot easier to share with people or format for publishing and things like that. So definitely if I'm coming up with the actual meat of the story, it's typing. But I do believe that you use either a different part of your brain or creative energy or something when you write longhand. So if I'm planning or outlining or working through a problem, if I get writer's block, then I always start writing longhand. The bigger the idea, the bigger the piece of paper or device or whiteboard I want to work on. So I usually use a big thing of butcher paper when I'm outlining a book so I can go all over the place and really like take up the space. But generally speaking, I'll type. You also asked me what device I use. I actually use an Acer Swift 3 from 2017. I love this machine to death. I game on it, I edit video, I upload things, I download things, I type all the day away, and it served me extremely well. I've had no problems with it, so 2 thumbs up for the Acer Swift 3. The other device I like to use is called a Remarkable. I have the Remarkable 2. Unfortunately, as of yesterday, mine broke, so I can't show it off to you. But up until that point, it was working a treat, and I've used it for years. It's like a paper tablet, the idea is, so you can't go browse the internet, but you can write in it like a journal. And the reason I love it is because it feels a lot more like paper than writing on a lot of tablets. It's easier on the eyes, so you can download a PDF onto it, and I'll just go through a manuscript and make physical notes. But it, critically, you can copy and paste text or move things around, and I'm always putting things in weird places and think, oh, really, I should have written that over here. And I can just do that. I can just click and drag it. It's beautiful. I really like the Remarkable as well. Unfortunately, this one is having some difficulties. It needs a spa day, but I'm working with their tech support, and hopefully that will resolve itself. And their tech support's actually been really good so far, so 10 out of 10. You also asked me if I've ever tried any famous writers' routines. I haven't really heard of a lot of famous writers' routines. For the last 9 years, writing for me was a really personal, private thing, so I didn't really talk to people about their routines. I didn't do a ton of research about what other people were doing. It was just kind of an expression of my creativity and a way to put my thoughts and my feelings together into a narrative. So I didn't really look into that stuff. The only one I've ever heard of is I think Hemingway used to write naked. He gave his assistant his clothes and then said, don't give them back until I've produced. I haven't done that. And yeah, mostly I haven't needed to try anyone else's routines. I'm a very routine driven person, so I haven't needed to. I just kind of figured out my own flow and my own thing. I've got really good drive, so motivation isn't a problem. And I just show up every day and write my words. It's not really, I haven't made it more complicated than that. So the last comment in your video was just mentioning that maybe I should do more introductory content, introduce myself to my audience a little better. And I think that's a really solid idea. The only reason I haven't really done that is because I don't have a big writing history to pull from. I can't say, look at these awards I've won, or I used to have this editing history. I've lived a pretty quiet, peaceful life, so I don't have a lot of big stories. But I do think probably doing an introduction overview kind of video is next on my docket, or it's in the queue. I have a few that have been recorded and just need editing. But in the next week or two, I'd look out. I'll probably post something just sort of going over who I am, my recent history, that kind of thing. Because I'm honored that you want to get to know me. That's really cool. Thank you, Jane. So that's the answers to Jane's questions from that comment. If anyone else has questions, or if Jane has additional questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. I'm a pretty open book as they go. And speaking of open books, The Ghost of Mittermere is now up on Audible. So if you prefer listening to your books, the lovely and fabulous Reverend Rebecca Yo narrated mine for me. And I did the editing, and it is now up on Audible. And it's just 1 credit away, and then you too could be listening to some brand new dark fantasy. So do consider that. Anyway, thank you so much, and I'll see you soon for an introductory video, or probably before then a blanket fort reading. Thank you so much, and I'll see you around. Happy reading!